So introduction. Before we going to see the topic, we have to know what we going to see in software testing. Nowadays, software is using everywhere, such as mobile phones, banking systems, online shoppings, and anywhere like hospitals, etc. So on. If software contains any error, it may occur some problem for user and companies. So before releasing the software, we must test it properly. So the software testing is one of the important method used in software development. Here we are going to see about introduction. In introduction, testing ensures software works, meets user needs and avoids costly failure. Software testing finds bugs early and builds trust. We will cover why we test and two common approaches. There are two common approaches in software testing. One is black box testing and another one is white box testing. So why testing software? Software testing is a process of checking whether the software works correctly, and also it helps to find errors and improve the quality. So testing ensures the software meets the user requirements. Here, finding the defects before user do not ensure the futures meet requirements, and also how to improve the quality and reliability, reduce the maintenance cost, and confirms expert behavior through the planned checks. So here is the benefits and risks. Risk. First, we're going to see the benefits. Benefits is to for better user trust, fewer failure, and smoother release. And here are some risk factors we covered in the software testing. So incomplete testing may become a big issue, which means missing some bugs, testing like time issues, resource issues, and so prioritize critical areas and balancing speed with the quality. So when to test a software? So testing early and often during the requirement, after each building and before releasing to catch issues quickly. So focus on critical features first and use automated testing for repeated checks. Manual testing helps with usability and export the checks. So why do we test a software? To identify bugs and errors, to improve the quality of service, to ensure the security and reliability, to check the performance, to satisfy the customer requirements, and to avoid the software failure. So here are two testing techniques are available. One is black box testing, then another one is white box testing. First we go with the black box testing. Black box testing is the time from the user's view without looking at code internals. So, in black box testing, testing the software without knowing the internal code. Tester check only the input and output. They won't focus. They focus on functionality, but They don't know what the internal functions. How is it will use. The user functional test input and output checks, but the user scenario to validate the requirements rather for accepting and system testing, but they don't know what the internal functions and what are the methodologies are used inside the black box testing. Here the another method is white box testing. In white box testing, test with the knowledge of code, structure and logic. Unit test, path coverage and code review to catch logic errors and improve code quality. Best for developers and early stage fixed. Here in white box testing, testing the internal structure and code of the software. Tester know the program logic and coding. For example, checking the loops, conditions, and program paths in code, but they don't care about the outside external path. So, testers should have knowledge in internal structures like coding, developing, looping conditions, and paths, program paths. So, how to choose a method? On both white box and black box combined both. for internal code corrections and for user facing behavior. Balancing the time and risk, prioritize the critical path for deepest testing and automate the repetitive checks. So finally, conclusion. Software testing is important for quality software. Black box testing checks the functionality and white box testing checks the internal logic. Here sometimes the both method helps to produce the reliable software. Choose the test based on goals, find bugs early with white box, validate the behavior with black box. It's aim to mix the automated where possible and focus on critical features to get the best value from testing. Thank you.